A very good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot for making me part of this activity. My presentation today concerns heritage, that is a central concept for constructing identity and managing disputed territories. I'll focus on its nuances as they are employed in constructing the national identity of Pakistan and the way diasporic communities, including Sikhs and Pakistanis, are engaged with them. We know that India and Pakistan have a long history of disputed borders and territories. I want to start by showing you a forthcoming corridor of pilgrims between the tension-ridden India and Pakistan. Amid all tensions, the Gurdwara Kartarpur Sahib corridor in Pakistan is going to be linked by a bridge and a road to another Sikh Gurdwara of Dera Baba Nanak Sahib in India. This corridor making activities popularized in Pakistan as religious tourism, and it is being linked with the heritage of Pakistan. Now, this is the moment that surprises many. The dominant national heritage of Pakistan, uh, that is dominated by two nation theory, imagines Sikhs and Hindus as excluded others. Uh, is this the first variance of Pakistan's heritage? The answer is no. Let me unearth different meanings of heritage. Following Bull and Hansen, I'll place heritage in three different categories: antagonistic, cosmopolitan, and agonistic. Antagonistic heritage, I'll include in the antagonistic heritage three, briefly though, but three different forms. Colonial archaeological heritage of Pakistan, Muslim archaeological heritage, heritage as work for Islamic heritage. Colonial archaeological heritage of Pakistan. Taking archaeological monumentalism as its canonical version of history, the Orientalist writers provided the authentic heritage of Pakistan. For example, um, Wheeler's book 5,000 Years of Pakistan, it's published in 1950, um, and related to Pakistan. It related Pakistan's history to the longest possible heritage tradition. However, it stopped short of Mughals period, that is around for 200 years ago, till when the British stepped in the region as a ruler, mm, and also evaded the blooded violence of 1947. That stripped off this region with the two big religious groups, that is Hindus and Sikhs, from this part of the Punjab in Pakistan. Uh, Second is Muslim archaeological heritage. Giving focus on the ideological separateness of Muslims, this position twisted the Orientalist theory and although linked Pakistan's history with the 5,000 years, but with an emphasis on Muslim rulers of India while ignoring the critical period of 47 partition and communal violence. It highlighted the achievements of Mughal rulers and stressed the Muslim literati with monolingualism, provincial folklores without the presence of non-Muslims, Muslim art forms such as calligraphy, and Muslim music such as Qawwali and Ghazal. Heritage as work for Islamic heritage. It stresses the need for reforms by finding sociality lacking the true spirit of Islam. It ensured that not only the archaeological remnants but also the intangible cultural heritage are distinct from Hindus. It shows two variants: a modern reformist and mosque based architectural heritage. Modern reformist is to change the character of the traditional sacred sites, such as shrines, by erecting them as work sites and by nationalizing and introducing reforms on them for welfare purposes other than their customary pluralistic functions. It emphasizes on the globalization process and tries to realign intangible cultural heritage with the modern world. Mosque based architectural heritage, um, it It emphasizes on Islamic cultural symbolism, um, and especially mosque, parda, veil for female, Hajj, Muslim pilgrimage, and distinct family values, distinct from Western values. It supported construction of mosques at almost all the sacred places in the country, even on those which were traditionally considered customary and multi-religious spaces. Um, so next comes the cosmopolitan heritage. Now the cosmopolitan heritage is again divided in three forms. Um, I include in them diasporic Islamic heritage, transnational global heritage, and Sikh heritage. Surprisingly, um, let's see why it's included. Diasporic Islamic heritage. Interestingly, many of the Pakistani diaspora identifies them with Islamic heritage. For example, Muslim Heritage Center has many Pakistani Muslim followers in the UK. Um, we can Their efforts are to highlight the characteristics of heritage as by distancing from radical Islam, identity with cultural symbolism such as hijab, showing the love of knowledge aligned with the modern life by claiming to have diversity in their in shaping a cohesive society. Transnational or universal or global uh, heritage. In it, uh, in this form, civil society is largely dominated by the globalized or transnational sections and citizens who made efforts to redirect and develop heritage sites, uh, such as we have a very popular we have a popular TV program back there that is called Coke Studio. That is an example to repackage folk songs into a modern ambience with a lot of modern instruments and a studio set as a very modern stage. Uh, Another example is the Citizen Heritage Program. It started funded and inspired by the US-based organization working to collect oral histories, especially of partition. Then there's a National Museum of Lahore. It's inaugurated in 2017 by Sharmeen Ubaid. Now, Sharmeen Ubaid, she's a Stanford graduate and filmmaker, and who was already awarded two Academy Awards and six Emmy Awards. Uh, so she was there when the National Museum of Lahore was inaugurated. And then there's a broader place for Sikh heritage in the Lahore Museum and National Heritage, Lahore Museum and National Heritage Center. Sikh heritage. Now, Sikh heritage. It's a very strange thing to place Sikh heritage in Pakistan's heritage. Uh, I'll leave this thing for question and answer session, and just explain here what is this thing. Sikh heritage. After the Operation Blue Star in India, that crushed mercilessly the religious political movement that emerged there as a Sikh identity. For Sikh identity that is non-Hindu, the Sikh diasporic community later on constructed a transnational image of Sikh heritage. The search for separate identity also developed an accommodating attitude for the Sikhs by the government of Pakistan. Obviously, because the movement was against Indian government, so Pakistani government found it quite convenient to be sympathized with Sikhs. Uh, so Sikh it has three major components. I must say that they are why they are distinct. Sikhs are not Hindus, and they have close. They also develop into a kind of a Khalistan, another movement which may be called the Khalistan movement, and then there's a diasporic element and the relationship between diaspora and Khalistan. So, saving Sikh heritage in Pakistan. Now, this Sikh heritage thing has achieved a lot of some of the successes in Pakistan, and few examples are like establishing Guru Nanak University, in funding for giving funding for constructions at gurdwaras, many gurdwaras, installation of the statue of Maharaja Ranjit Singh at Lahore Fort, and preparing for 550th Guru Nanak anniversary in November this year, and giving economic and social support for making Kartarpur corridor. Now comes the agonistic heritage. Uh, Finally, for agonistic heritage, that is to open up for the reflexive, dialogic, multi-perspectivist position and engage in open-ended dialogue by exposing the constructing, constructed nature of memory that may direct towards collective solidarity with an emphasis for democratic institutions. I feel there are hard to find good examples. One can find like larger spaces for Sikh gurus in the Lahore Museum and National Heritage Center, making efforts for like Kartarpur Gurdwara corridor. Uh, um, but then uh, the resistance of the dominating antagonistic heritage is overwhelming. Let me give you an example of a statue placed in Lahore Museum a few months ago. It was built by a student uh, of Punjab University's College of Arts. Um, However, the authorities have to remove the statue because of the roaring voices comparing it with the religious imagery of Satan and Jewish mythologies. The domination on the representation of some sections of society has been making things hardened for the specific nature of heritage, for the prevalence of the specific nature of heritage. The spread of cosmopolitan heritage has softened up the hardened boundaries. I must end here by saying that it, though although cosmopolitan heritage uses the continuity tradition, but not willing to give representation to the dominated sections for putting in their perspective for the possibility of agnostic heritage. Thank you.